It's that time of year where people dress up and eat candy, look at scary movies, masturbate to Elvira, and we all watch Cinemassacre's Monster Madness! Last year I did a list called the top 10 Halloween anime, but this year I'm only gonna do 5. I didn't have time to explore certain shows, so hopefully these anime and manga will be featured in 2018's Halloween list. But what about this year? Well, I already talked about JoJo Bizarre Adventure, so it'd be redundant for me to explain JoJo again. But at least I'll say Stardust Crusaders is currently airing on Toonami. Meanwhile, Funimation has finally continued dubbing the Gray Man, good for you, and Devilman Crybaby won't premiere till 2018. So my options are rather limited, but I still got some things to share with you. Similar to Volume 1, I'll be recommending shows that dive into violent darkness, but also material that's suitable for the Halloween spirit. I'll stop wasting your time and let's go into 2017's Top 5 Best and Worst Halloween Anime Volume 2. No, I did not rip that off. Yeah, got girls. Number 5, Don Dracula. This show is not that good, but the bright side? It's only 8 episodes long. Created by the god of manga, Osamu Tezuka, Don Dracula is a comedic interpretation of Count Dracula as he's living in Japan, but he's also a single father by taking care of his half-vampire, half-werewolf daughter, Chocola. Like the cereal. The humor comes from Dracula attempting to drink blood from virgin women, but something always gets in the way. With 8 episodes, I only enjoyed about 3 of them listed on screen. It manages to show a family bond in one tragic story that I was not ready to see. The problem with this show? It doesn't know what to do. A lot of scenes feel dragged out with very little comedic results. Judging from the first episode, I expected this anime to be akin to Dr. Slump or something like Go Nagai, but it doesn't live up to those standards. There was some behind-the-scenes problems, as back in 1982, the sponsors for this anime kind of took up production via bankruptcy, resulting only 4 episodes to be aired, and the total 8 didn't become available in Japan until DVDs were invented. But it gets worse. According to the English Tezuka website, it was intended to be a 26-episode anime. Talk about bad luck. You can find more info on the mentioned Tezuka web, such as a storyline featuring Dracula's ex-wife, Carmilla. A personal highlight is Dracula's voice actor being Kenji Utsumi, who also played Senbi Norimaki from Dr. Slump, but can you guess what manly character he reminds me of? Personally, I found the manga to be the superior version, but this series isn't licensed and not much can be found online. The jokes flow better in the source material, but it's also darker because we see a kid commit suicide and Dracula doesn't give a damn. There's other stories that demonstrate these characters in a gray area, along with some random bursts of violence and black comedy, so it kind of feels like a Go Nagai series. Perhaps Tezuka also had a dark side. Just maybe. I wanted to talk about Devilman Grimoire, but maybe I'll speak of that next year. So I give you the Devilman 1972 anime, which is a horror superhero series. Every episode features a new demon that Devilman beats up with violent attacks. While the series overstays its welcome a bit with 39 episodes of the Demon of the Week formula, there's still some fun to be found here. You won't believe what they got away with in 1970s television, such as whipping a nipple. Uh-oh! Holy demon tits, Devilman! It's campy fun mixed in with the traditional insanity of Go Nagai. Normally you would think a demonic superhero will be visualized in an edgy format, but this show goes against expectations with its over-the-top, excessively violent demonic campiness. But a major downside to this anime, it doesn't have an ending. Oh, how Go Nagai! Originally, Go Nagai and Toei Animation collaborated on this Devilman project, with the author making his own story of a dark superhero symbolizing an anti-war message, while Toei stayed closer to the tokusatsu superhero, especially when Devilman battles giant demons. These 2 separate versions are canon to themselves, since both stories feature a different main character. Interestingly, the newly licensed manga, Devilman Grimoire, seems to be a combination of the 2 series. The lack of an ending for the TV anime could be intentional to persuade viewers to jump to the 5-volume manga. Go Nagai's Devilman manga ended in a controversial tragedy which influenced other series, such as the ending of Evangelion and the eclipse from Berserk. What made the Devilman manga stir a buzz in the anime industry is the graphic nature for being too dark and excessive for a shonen manga, even by today's standards. But it is viewed as a powerful message which gave Go Nagai a lot of recognition. There's a Berserk interview briefly mentioning Devilman's effects in the manga business. This 1972 Devilman manga will finally be available in the States in 2018, while Netflix will also release its newest adaptation, Devilman Crybaby, which hopefully will adapt the entirety of the manga. Until then, if you're interested in some dark, lighthearted, violent fun, the Devilman 1972 anime might keep you company. Hellgirl for Twilight. Okay, this one was straight up bad. Last year I recommended the Hellgirl trilogy, an episodic anime of horror tales where people visit a website to hire Hellgirl, who can banish people to hell. In 2017, Hellgirl received a 4th installment, which sucked. The previous anime received 26 episodes apiece, making a grand total of 78 stories. Guess how many episodes this new series got? The average 13 episode seasonal anime? You'd wish. This anime only has 6 episodes. Only 6 episodes. Okay, it actually has 12, but half of those are recaps from the previous season. So it's bad enough that the anime returned with a minuscule number and a really rushed story, but it doesn't help the animation didn't evolve. The original Hellgirl aired in 2004 and continued till 2009. Forged Twilight has expectations that were not met, as the art doesn't look like a 2017 anime. It still gives the appearance of being made in the mid-2000s. The animation is serviceable and the original series still holds up, but this animation is not good for the standards of 2017. It just feels cheap. Obviously, anime isn't meant to be entitled to my opinion, but fans of this horror anime deserve better than what was made. The ending of the anime seems to imply of a continuation, but I'm not holding my breath. If you want a better impression of the series, I suggest watching the original Hellgirl and its second season, 2 Mirrors. Hellgirl for Twilight can burn in... you know where. Number 2 is another series from Osamu Tezuka, being one of his darkest stories, Alabaster. How dark is it? Well, the author of this story says, "I hate every character that appears in it without exception." What the f***? Apparently, Alabaster was made during a dark time in Tezuka's life. He absolutely regrets creating this story. Alabaster was a mistake. Despite its credentials, I think this is a really good story, but yeah, it's freaking sad. Inspired by films relating to the Invisible Man, half of the story is organized crime and the rest is horror. James Block was an African Olympian man who fell in love with a white woman. The relationship falls apart when she refuses to marry him because... he's black. She only dated James because he was popular. James gets enraged and goes to prison. He meets a scientist which tells him of an experimental invisible ray gun, and when he finally gets released, he tests the gun on himself, wishing to remove his skin color. The experiment backfires, making him see-through, which creates a grotesque image. James Block now calls himself Alabaster, and the first thing he does is murder the woman who got him in jail. Alabaster later comes in contact with a scientist's granddaughter who successfully was born invisible. After a lot of dramatic story events, the two create a gang who kill corrupt people. Alabaster's modus operandi is to prove that humanity is ugly and everyone is a deceiver. But, like most crime stories, shit gets real very fast. Things spiral out of control, entering insanity, which is best demonstrated by Alabaster's victims. He fires the ray gun at them, purposely leaving parts of their body invisible, creating monstrosities. A lot of these panels are some of the most f***ed-up hellish imagery in manga history. Who could have thought an invisible woman and a disfigured man could cause so much terror? There's a lot more to the story of 2 volumes that must be shared among anime and manga fans. This manga was recently licensed by Digital Manga via Kickstarter, and as of this edit date, there's a few quantities remaining. I got mine through Right Stuff. While Tezuka viewed his work as an embarrassment, I see this as one of his best, especially for a Halloween tale. Number 1, Dorohedoro. This manga contains some of the craziest visuals you'll ever see. Dorohedoro is a mystery series starring the 2 friends Kaiman and Nikaido. plus the Cross-Eyes Gang and sorcerers from N's family. Kaiman is a man whose head was transformed into a lizard, and he wants to find the sorcerer to change him back. He also suffers from amnesia. However, their journey to find said sorcerer leads to a lot of answers and a lot more questions. You will not believe the greedy crazy shit that happens in this manga. We have dinosaurs, mushrooms, devils, zombies, cockroaches, toilets that flush to hell, meat pies, a turkey head, and of course, Shin and Noi, the greatest one true pairing. No, Kaiman and Nikaido, the other OTP of the series. Despite the gore, a lot of characters actually have a romance and they're all extremely likable. You'll find yourself laughing at some bloody things that shouldn't be funny, but it is. The plot itself definitely hooks you in, but as the series refuses to end, the manga keeps getting confusing. Dorohedoro was scheduled to finish in 2013, but it's been going on for so long that it went from a seinen and became a shonen. What? As of late 2017, Dorohedoro is now part of the monthly Shonen Sunday. The story taking an extended run is not a bad thing, but it did cause me to constantly reread the series just so I can remember what was going on. A lot of events occur throughout the whole story, including flashbacks, time traveling, and resurrections. Normally this would sound like a messy structure that could easily contradict itself, but the insanity manages to work in its favor. The appeal of this manga could vary from its horror aesthetics, the strange magic, its occult characters, or even the mystery of, will Kaiman get together with Nikaido? Given its many weird menace scenarios, this manga is very appropriate for the Halloween spirit, especially when the sorcerers wear masks and just about everything else screams of Halloween. There's a certain charm to this twisted manga, and to people who are into this type of ridiculous horror, you might have found your next favorite thing. Did you know? Dorohedoro was written by a woman named Kyu Hayashida. This chick has drawn some wacky stuff. For more info about Dorohedoro, visit the channel of the #1 Dorohedoro fanboy, Mr. Falcon Punch 996. So I bid you farewell and have a safe and happy Halloween 2017.